We have some breaking news to start, and that is relating to the Post Office. And its chief executive, Nick Reed, has been exonerated of all misconduct allegations following an external report into his behaviour. Our business correspondent Paul Kelso able to join us. He's at the Post Office inquiry. This isn't really related to that. Paul, just break down what we're talking about here with Nick Reed, the initial question, which I seemingly answered today.
Yeah, I mean, it's not directly related to what happened in the 2000s, which is the subject of this inquiry, but it is a consequence. We know about this investigation into the current Post Office Chief Executive, Nick Reed, because of a parliamentary inquiry into the chaos that it is still causing, the scandal around the Horizon system for the Post Office. At that Select Committee hearing earlier in the year, the former chairman of the Post Office, Henry Staunton, who was himself fired by Business Secretary Kemi Badenoch, made the allegation that far from him being the subject of an inquiry, she claimed bullying allegations against Mr Staunton, which as yet have not been substantiated. He pointed out to the inquiry that the chief executive, Nick Reed, with whom there was clearly some tension, was the subject of an HR investigation, claims levelled at him by the former HR director who left the company. So Nick Reed facing this investigation. The Post Office confirmed he was under investigation. Today they have said he has been cleared of those allegations of misconduct. I'll read you the statement that the Post Office has issued this morning. It said, over the last few months, an independent barrister has been investigating a speak-up complaint against a number of which included a number of misconduct allegations against our CEO, Nick Reed. Following several interviews and examinations of documents by the barrister, Nick has been exonerated of all the misconduct allegations and has the full and united backing of the board to continue to lead the business. Now, Mr Reed was here last week in the front row to hear the evidence of Alan Bates, the sub-postmaster who's led this campaign for justice, and he seemed fairly confident then, a man who was going to continue to be in the job to deal with the fallout from this inquiry, and this exoneration by the board would appear to confirm that is the case.
What is the latest, Paul, since you've been there on the coming out of the inquiry today?
Well, we're hearing this morning from John Longman, who was a long-time Post Office investigator handling the nitty-gritty of allegations of theft against sub-postmasters. He was particularly important in the case of Seema Misra, a sub-postmaster who was pregnant when she was wrongfully convicted and jailed of theft and false accounting for a non-existent shortfall of around £70,000 that was conjured from thin air by her Horizon computer system. Hers was considered a test case, in the Post Office's own words, because they wanted to use the theft charges to enable them to use the Proceeds of Crime Act to get money back. Of course, we now know, and perhaps they may have known at the time had they looked a little closer, no money had been stolen. Now, John Longman has asked this morning whether he's aware that there were more than one case in which sub-postmasters were claiming there were problems with the Horizon system. And I think we can hear what he told the inquiry. We can't hear from him. He was asked. He says, with hindsight, it's clear. But he has, in fact, changed his witness statement this morning. He initially, in preparation for this hearing, had said he wasn't aware at the time of Seema Misra there were any other cases. He has now, on reviewing the evidence that's being relied on this morning by the inquiry, accepted he did know of other cases, one in particular where the entire case was dropped because of potential problems, a bug in the Horizon system. It's just emerged in evidence in questioning of Mr Longman that in fact no efforts were made to investigate that bug, that problem, and because no efforts were made to investigate it, evidence of that bug wasn't shared with subsequent prosecution. So we're starting to see the cycle here of ignorance, willful or not, of problems with Horizon, and that informing how other cases were dealt with. In the case of Seema Misra, she was jailed despite there being no evidence of theft whatsoever.
Paul, great stuff. As always, thanks so much, Paul Kelso.